Hi, today I'm going to show you how to make these spiral rosebuds out of paper. It takes about 6 by 6 inches of paper to make this size, and a little bit of glue, and maybe some ink if you want to ink up your edges. So we're going to start out with a 6 by 6 piece of cardstock, and I've chosen a double-sided cardstock because it's kind of fun. You get a little bit more texture and interest to it, but you could do this with a plain cardstock or one-sided paper, wouldn't be a problem. And I'm going to use some scissors, and I'm going to cut a spiral pattern out of this piece. If you're worried about cutting it well, and it can be really messy, but if you want to, you can get a pencil and draw your spiral freehand first. But it really doesn't have to be very perfect. And I think I want my spiral width to be about 1 inch. So first I'm just going to start here and go out around the edge. You can see I'm not being perfect. It's not even that round. It doesn't really matter. And so you can see this part here is about 1 inch wide, but does not have to be perfect. Do not get your ruler out and measure this. Just freehanded, it really doesn't matter. Okay, so then once you get that all cut, you're going to cut a little scalloped edge on it. And basically I just, again, freehand, just sort of cut like this. These little, oh, they're about 1 inch too, 1 inch, 1.5 inches apart. But so you have this little spiral. And the messier the better, the more uneven the better. Okay, so we're going to start with this end here, and we're going to roll up. This is going to be the center. So you're just going to start rolling there, and the trick or the key to this is to really keep it flat along this inside edge that's not the scallop side. Keep that kind of flush together against your finger so that your flower can be glued to a base at the end so it won't come unrolled. So you can see I'm just rolling. And whatever pattern you have on the inside of your rose is actually the side that's going to show the most. So take that into consideration before you start rolling. You can always flip it over if you want the other side to be showing a little more. Okay, so here I am at the end of my rose, and what I'm going to do, you can see this little center part, that's going to be the part we glue the rose together at. So I'm just going to hold it like this for a second to kind of make sure it's really tightly wound, and just to give the paper a chance to kind of wind up like that. Then I'm going to, now don't be afraid, you might be scared to do this, but just let go. And your flower kind of unrolls and comes to life. So to get this to stay, we don't want to unroll much more than that, so I'm going to stop it, and I'm going to put a little bit of glue right down in the center, and I'm using the Designer Dries Clear glitter glue, or glitter glue that dries really fast, and I'm just squeezing some down in the middle there. And it should come out the bottom there, and then I'll put a little bit under this side too. And just hold that until it's steady, or until it's pretty much dry. But this does dry pretty quickly. And then once it's dry, and this isn't quite yet, but what I'm going to do is kind of push some of these petals back, kind of just bend them back with my fingers. You can also turn it over like this and kind of mash it down, and that will give it some crinkles and turns. Another fun thing to do before you actually roll this up would be to ink the edges with an ink pad. This is the chalk ink pad from Colorbox that's just a creamy brown, and it's pretty. It just kind of gives it a little bit of a, I don't know, kind of a shadow on the edges there. It's pretty. It doesn't show up a lot, but it's a really nice look. And then another option is to, instead of cutting the scallops around the edge, is to cut your spiral and then actually fold the edges down like this, all the way around the edge. Instead of cutting the scallop, you're just folding the edge over like this. And that's a really cute look too. I'll include some pictures at the end that you can see the difference. So you just fold it like that, and then you'd start your winding. And then you'll definitely just see the color paper that's folded over. You won't see so much the back side of that paper. But that looks really cute too. And these are really great for the fronts of cards, mini albums. They are pretty tall, so they don't fit as well on scrapbook pages, but you could make them smaller just by using a smaller piece of paper. Like this one, I started with a 4-inch square of paper, and I cut my spiral about 3/4 of an inch instead of an inch, and it turned out a little smaller. So you can vary the size by varying the size of your paper. That's it.